What's happening, people? So, make a baby. This comes from, I was reading a book called Super Intelligence by Nick Bostrom. And one of the quotes I pulled from his book, page 185, unless the plan is to keep super intelligence bottled up forever, it will be necessary to master motivation selection. And I think this term, motivation selection, is kind of the crux of the problem that we have. So, I mean, does anyone really think that we can master this idea of motivation selection? Like, just to explain what that is, it's what it sounds like: selecting the motive, selecting the desires, selecting the goals of what we create, of AI, of the AI that we do create, rather than letting it become something dynamic and out of our control. We try to control it and thereby make it act in our interests. So it selects actions, selects goals that we want. The motivation becomes ours. It's like it acts on our behalf. I guess that is the ultimate goal of creating AI, the kind of fantasy that underlies much of the narrative of AI and robotics. It's that we create something that acts on our behalf, that does what we want, that is essentially our slave. So, in the majority of efforts with AI and with most things in science, especially, maybe across the board, is that we proceed with like preconceived notions of what we need and what we want and how we can get it, and then we try, and then we fail, and then we change up, we try something new, and eventually come to some kind of compromise, usually. Yeah, I think that's essentially growth, the process of growth and change. With something like superintelligence and AI, generalized AI, is that, I mean, the risks are that we all get killed by a fucking computer on our first go. There is no save game. There is no multiple lives with something so powerful. I think at the heart of this idea, and the way I talk and the way everyone talks about AI, is the idea of a super intelligence, let's say, in keeping with Nick Bostrom's book, super intelligence as an other, as an agent separate to us and in need of control by us. In order for us to be safe, we need to control it because it's external. So this is the problem that we face. It's the base, the crux of the problem. There's something separate, something external. It's very powerful. We fear and believe that it will eventually act against us, so we need to control it. So the question becomes, how do we control an alien that we've never met? We don't know what it is. We don't know its nature, and that will almost certainly be far superior to us in most respects. I don't think there's an answer to that. Maybe just try our best, do what we can, which isn't a good answer at all. I think one obvious answer is to incorporate AI into us rather than proceeding from this first principle that it's external to us, that it's an other. If we proceed from the principle that it is a part of us, that we are connected to it, that it is not a separate thing, but rather just an expression of us. And within that expression, there is a loop that we express, and then it returns and affects us, and then and it slowly changes us, and we become something new as a result of the expression of AI, if that makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. So something I wrote in my article, basically we have to have sex with computers and have a baby. And I think in terms of what is produced, what we are producing now, the computers, the programs, the software, so much of it is potentially externalized, but also, and this is the potential, so much of it is, there is a possible track where it comes back into us. It is a relationship that makes us grow, that changes us, with things like artificial limbs and different VR and AR and improving sight and all these kind of things. There is that potential for something more intimate. Yeah. All right, I'm gonna leave it there. Have a good one. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.